What are the specific questions you'd like to see Dana Bash ask her tomorrow?
It has been years since we've seen Donald Trump do a real interview with a journalist who will actually push back against him lately. It's just been Fox or OAN or podcasters like Theo Vaughn and Dr. Phil asking softball questions of Trump and never pushing back when he lies or tries to evade the question. And that's why I was so surprised to see a Donald Trump Daily Mail interview, which I didn't really think was going to be all that hard-hitting, but the interview actually did push back against Donald Trump, continued to ask him the question that he was trying to evade so much so that you could continue to see Trump get flustered and angry more and more throughout the entire interview. And this really culminated with an incredibly angry Trump unable to speak and really just refusing to answer a question about one of the most damaging elements of this campaign, of his campaign, were the worst issues for Trump, just flat out refusing to answer and just the most embarrassing fashion. And so it was just a complete collapse from Donald Trump. And we are going to get into this full interview. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button, if you haven't already, really goes a long way in supporting our channel now. Let's check out this first clip.
The poll came out at 20 points after the debate. They said, you're not going to win, and Joe, we want you out of here. He said, I'm not getting out. They said, you're getting out. And they got him out. And he's very humbled, and he's frankly, he's a very angry man, because I know people that know him very well, and I know him very well. He's a very angry man.
As I've said many times on this show, Donald Trump is so clearly stuck in the past. His brain is really broken in this campaign. And the fact that he can't find any issue to message on correctly or any substantive attack to make on Camus. So he's stuck in the past. He just wants to talk about President Biden in his debate with him. And it's so funny that he's projecting this anger onto Joe Biden that he has with KLA Harris completely. Not true. We just saw them do a joint event together in Pittsburgh. They are so excited about the enthusiasm behind Kamala Harris. But of course, this is just projection of Donald Trump and his bad relationship with his running mate, which I guess he hasn't endorsed him a little different from President Biden there. So again, projection from Donald Trump. And this is where we start to see him get a little bit angry in this interview, but it really starts to pick up with this clip right here.
What are the specific questions you'd like to see Dana Bash ask her tomorrow?
Well, the first thing I want to do is say, why isn't it live? It's not a live interview. It's an interview that's going to be taped and then edited and then put out. So that's not even an interview. Then she's doing it with her vice president sitting there. So she's not very smart. When they ask her a question that she can't answer, she'll just look at him. You answer it. I can't imagine. Everyone's waiting for her to do an interview because she's been a very big failure on interviews before, as you know. A tremendous failure.
I find it strange that it has been the obsession of MAGA and Donald Trump to attack Kamala Harris for not answering enough questions when she is talking about her policy proposals, her agenda every single day. That she is out on the campaign trail giving speeches and talking about her vision when it is Donald Trump who is running away from his agenda in Project 2025. Also, it's hilarious that Donald Trump said that Kamala Harris's interview with Dana Bash didn't count. Because it was taped, this interview that Donald Trump is doing right now was taped as well. It came out yesterday and he was being asked out an interview that happened on Thursday. So clearly, this was not a live interview. This was taped. It's always projection from Donald Trump. Every MAGA accusation is an admission of the truth about them. And what is the line that he said? That KLA Harris is a tremendous failure on interviews. What does that even mean? This is what Donald Trump is doing. He is losing it. He can't message against Camus. This is what we have been talking about. And this is why he is tanking in polls, which this interviewer actually asked him about. And it really upset Donald Trump right here.
How do you feel more broadly about where you are with the campaign? Are you happy with where you are? It seems as if it's been a difficult month or so since Joe Biden dropped out.
No, it's been a great month. I don't understand that question. Bobby Kennedy joined our campaign. Tulsi Gabbard joined. And again, RFK Jr., that's a big deal.
It's so funny to finally see Donald Trump defensive in an interview, just completely on his heels. I think he's shocked. It's a shock to his system when he hears the truth about how poorly his campaign is doing. Fox always wants to praise him, and whenever they don't, he calls them the enemy. And so it's really a shock to his system. But for him to hear that his campaign is collapsing from someone else, he just gets so upset immediately, saying, "Oh no, I haven't had a bad month. She's the one who's had the bad month. Even though KLA Harris is searching in every metric, she's exploding in the polls, historic fundraising, hauls, enthusiasm, bigger crowds than Trump could imagine. So of course he is reeling, and he knows it. I feel like he does, and that's why he's so upset to hear it, because he does know what the state of this race is, and it's state of this race where Donald Trump is so incredibly behind, and he knows he's not going to be able to make up ground because he can't message. He can't even get his endorsements to help him out. They're actually kind of backfiring in the case of RFK Jr. Only a reminder of all of these rad policies that Donald Trump wants to implement through Project 2025, like cutting off any funding to public schools that have vaccine mandates, just insane stuff. And so when Donald Trump was asked about the endorsement of RFK Jr., it just went a little strangely and just shows how bad this campaign is going.
Just to go back, I was asking about RFK Jr. What particular role do you see for him during the campaign and maybe in the administration?
Well, we haven't talked about it, but as you know, he's very big on health. He's very big on medical all things medicine. Not against everything, but he's against some things. I think he's going to play a role. I mean, I would like to. Well, I haven't even spoken to him about it. He endorsed me. He feels strongly about it. Tulsi endorsed me, and many other people have endorsed me, as you know. But I haven't really spoken about it. But he's a very good factor. Women love him.
Yes, RFK Jr. is big on medical things. This is what I'm talking about. When I say the Trump campaign's biggest issue is they have nothing to message on, supposedly, you would think in theory that RFK Jr. would be a helpful endorsement. I don't actually think. So especially with the issues that are happening right now with his ballot access, unable to get off the ballot in key swing states like North Carolina or Wisconsin, where he's going to be taking votes from Donald Trump. So that hurts, but it's also the case that RFK Jr. is just a reminder of how radical Donald Trump is. And so he can't talk about the medical things that he's big on because they're so extreme and damaging to his campaign. So just everything is backfiring. And that same messaging struggle, of course, comes with their failure to define Kamala Harris. And it's why we see Donald Trump lash out and say ridiculous things like this.
In some ways, I'm happy about it because she should be easier to beat than Biden. Biden's been around a long time. He has a certain base. Kamala has no base. Nobody knows who she is. You know who she is? She's a Marxist. And this country can't handle a Marxist. We won't have any more elections. This country cannot handle a Marxist.
Saying that we won't have elections anymore if Kamala Harris is elected is probably the worst case of projection from Donald Trump. That is every Republican accusation is an admission of truth about themselves. That is the shining example that gets the gold medal, putting that on the podium. And Donald Trump wants to continue to say that Kamala Harris is a Marxist, or he calls her Comrade Kamala. This is his fourth nickname for her. And he just, kind of mixes and matches these words. One day, she's a Marxist, then she's a communist, then she's a fascist, then she's a socialist. Donald Trump is really just throwing stuff at the wall here. He's grasping at straws because, again, he does not have a way to message against KLA Harris. It's the great struggle of this campaign, and so he just sounds more disingenuous than ever every single day and really tired. These attacks are just kind of tired. They're not working. Polls reflect that. And so he is getting more and more upset at his inability to message, and it's why he is losing in this campaign. And it's not just his inability to message, it's the Kamala Harris campaign absolutely hammering Donald Trump. And of course, one of the most important issues that they're hammering him on is the issue of women's reproductive freedom, which Donald Trump was asked about in this interview and just could not answer. And a really contentious moment that I want to check out right here.
So just to go back to the federal abortion ban, your running mate said that you would veto a federal abortion bill if it came across your desk. Is that
Well, you
right?
don't need it.
You won't need it, but hypothetically if it
Well,
did.
I don't want to answer a hypothetical. You don't need it because the people are now voting in the states, which is where I don't think it should be in the federal government. No scholar, no legal scholar wanted it in.
This is exactly why the attack that Kamala Harris isn't answering enough question that we hear so much from the media is ridiculous to me, because Kamala Harris is talking about her policy proposals every single day. She's talking about her agenda, and she's talking about what her and President Biden have accomplished in their almost 4 years in the White House. And Donald Trump can't answer a simple question of whether or not he would sign a national abortion ban. Donald Trump is running away from his agenda project 2025 every single day. It's no contest. KLA Harris is talking about her vision for the future, and Donald Trump is running away for the vision that he has that will pull us back to the past. That is the contrast between two candidates, one who has a vision and one whose vision is dark and twisted and is lying about it. So we have honesty and a path forward, and lies and deceit and vision and a path backwards. And as Kamala Harris says, we're not going back, and we're going to be talking about that every single day on this show. And so if you want to support us, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments, and until next time, I'll see you soon.